Trade or pay the man? Which should we do? Of course, we're talking about Terry McLaurin, our number one wide receiver. A lot of folks are really starting to panic. Folks, we need to calm our rolls, okay? It is April. Okay, yeah. We're getting toward the end of April. I understand we're starting to get a little bit of panic going because we have not signed Terry McLaurin yet. And we're looking at these other wide receivers, these big-time wide receivers around the league, and suddenly these guys are getting paid. Devontae Adams getting paid. Hopkins getting paid. And then we're looking at what's happening with Deebo Samuel out of San Francisco, who basically is doing the whole I'm wiping all of my social media of anything related to the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm asking for a trade because I feel like I had this tremendous season last year, which he did. He had over 1,400 receiving yards last year, I believe. Either receiving yards or total yards. Either way, he had a tremendous year last year, and so he feels like he should get paid big time for his contributions. And so right now, he is in the mode of, I want to get paid. San Francisco doesn't want to pay him, so he wants to get traded. And believe me, Terry McLaurin is looking at all of this, and he's paying attention. So right now, he's doing a little bit of a mini holdout. He wants to get paid as well. Washington fans, they're a little bit antsy. You're always going to have the Washington fans on one side of the story or the other. You're going to have them either in the camp where they're going to be like, you need to pay the man at all costs because he is such a generational player. There we go with that term again, generational. He is such a generational player that we can't afford to give up somebody like Terry McLaurin. He is a number one wide receiver. It is very hard to get receivers like this, so you pay the man. But then again, we do have fans on the other side who are saying, wait a minute now, Terry McLaurin is great and all, but why should we have to pay him this huge sum of money? Is he really worth that much money? Should we really make him the highest paid wide receiver in all of the NFL? Maybe, as great as he is, he could really command such a huge trade value, and we know that teams would eat him up like crazy. We could really get a lot for him in terms of trade. So why don't we just trade Terry McLaurin? We can pick up some decent receivers, and we're all the better, right? And so you have fans are in that camp. Now let's look at both sides of the fence. Let's look at the pay him camp, all right? He is a guy that you don't see very often. Terry McLaurin, you pair him with the right quarterback, and we may have the right quarterback this year in Carson Wentz. Carson would definitely get the ball downfield to him this year, unlike Taylor Heineke, our favorite. But Terry McLaurin, you get him with the right quarterback, and he's already shown you what he can do with quarterbacks who are not necessarily starting material, who are not necessarily franchise quarterbacks. Can you imagine him with a true franchise quarterback? I mean, he could literally be the best wide receiver in NFL history. Am I wearing my burgundy and gold-colored glasses right now? So here we go. Terry McLaurin, pay him. Pay the man, because we don't know if we'll ever have another receiver like that ever again. Now let's look at the other camp. The camp that says, you know what, he's great and all, but let's not make him the highest paid wide receiver in all of NFL land. Let's see if we can trade him, get some first round draft picks for him. Let's see if we can use that to really build the team. Who knows, maybe we truly get our franchise quarterback next year. Maybe we're able to pick up a Terry McLaurin replacement in this year's draft, so we're not really losing anything. We're gaining more draft picks, high-round draft picks. We're not having to pay the guy, and we could possibly have a Terry McLaurin replacement on a rookie salary for the next 5 years. And Are you going to rinse and repeat this? Maybe, possibly. These are very logical and plausible arguments to the story as well. And honestly, I can see it both ways. If you take the emotional attachment to these players out of the equation and you really sit down and you look at it, both arguments right now say a lot. When it comes down to it, though, Terry McLaurin is a player. You know what you have with Terry McLaurin. You don't know what you have just yet with any of these receivers who are touted to be a number one wide receiver coming out of college. The hope is that they're going to be one of the best wide receivers in the league and that they're going to make an instant impact. But it's always a crapshoot with these drafts. You never really truly know. With Terry McLaurin, you know what you have right now. I think you do pay the man. Despite the fact that you could get a lot for Terry McLaurin, I really think you pay Terry McLaurin if he wants to stay in Washington. Now, that's going to be the added variable. That's where it comes into. And right now, that's the pivotal thing. He really has to want to stay in Washington. He has to be able to. If he says, look, this is all business. I just want to win. I want to go out and play for a team that wants to have me. If he's saying that and he's not really pledging allegiance to a particular team, and you got to pay attention to that as well, right? Because a player is going to say, I want to be where I'm welcomed, all right? That's always a telltale sign that they are open to go anywhere, right? They're not pledging allegiance to the team that they're on currently. A player is going to say, I really want to be here for the rest of my playing days. And you can kind of believe that a little bit more. Although we have had some players in the past who have said that, Brandon Sheriff, and who have moved on as quickly as they possibly could. So then again, what do I know, right? Which side of the fence are you on with Terry McLaurin? Now, I will say this. It's still April. We need to pump our brakes. Some of our big-time signings, some of the big-time signings in the NFL didn't happen until June and July. And you also got to remember, some of our cuts that we have made are not being made until June or July, whenever the deadline is, that these players, that their money comes off of the books. And so we have to wait for that money to come off the books. So it's very possible that we're waiting for that point until we can sign Terry McLaurin to a long-term deal. So let's just pump the brakes. Let's not get too excited just yet. I really do feel like Terry McLaurin is going to be here. He's going to be a Commander for life. But we have to really be patient with this. Let me know in the comments section what you think. Terry McLaurin, pay him or trade him.